Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Meadsy69 and welcome back to another top 5 episode of the worst performing tanks in the game. We've already had the top 5 best performing tech tree tanks in the game, and now we're going to look at the top 5 worst performing tech tree tanks in the game. Some of these I was fairly shocked about, but I wasn't overly surprised. Coming in at number 5, and that is the Centurion 1, a British Tier 8 medium tank, and that is coming in at 49.40%. Remember, for these last 90 days, we are, performance-wise, we're just going by win rate alone, not by damage or survival rate. We're literally just going by win rate, and this is coming in at number 5 in the top 5 worst performing tanks, and I was quite shocked to see this here. I mean, it's not an overly popular tank. A lot of people don't like the tank, and I was one of them, to be honest. I was one of them, but I went to play the tank to get this footage, and I thought, you know what, that's not so bad. That isn't so bad. One of my patrons has requested actually for me to make the Centurion 1 video, so I will get to that as soon as I possibly can to make a full review guide actually on this tank. But it is number 5. It's one of the worst performing tanks in the entire game. And also, don't forget, we are only going by tier 5 to tier 10. Anything below tier 5 we don't care about. No one cares about lower tiers. So this is number 5. Coming in at number 4, as I've said, it is one of the worst performing tanks in the entire game, and that is the FE215B 183. Ever since the nerf on this tank, it's not performing. It really isn't. I still kind of enjoy the tank when I play it. I mean, I've just done another video not so long ago on this tank, and I did state in there that it is one of the worst performing tanks in the game. That's just because people don't know how to play it. People just want to derp things like we did on the Conway, and like we're going to do here. We don't even have to aim on the back chat, and we do nearly 1300 damage. And this is why people play it. They don't care if they lose. They don't care if they win. As long as they pump out that damage, that is all they care about, and that is why it is performed so badly. People rush it. People don't really play well in it. I mean, you can do shots like this front of a T54, bottom plate, Hesh, Amarak, see you later. And that's our 3rd shot of the game, and we're on 3,500 damage. And we would have finished on about 5,000 damage if it wasn't for our Amarak damage. That our reload is like 40 odd seconds. It's crazy with our Amarak damage, our module damage, and because of that I just can't reload in time, and by the time I get here this guy would have been on 1200 hit points, but unfortunately they only leave me with 765, but we do manage to take him out. So 4 shots, 4k damage, nice and easy. Coming in at number 3, and I was quite surprised with this tank. It is the Jagdpanther, the Tier 7 German tank destroyer, and that is 49.35% for the last 90 days. I quite like this tank. The tank is actually very nice when played correct. You need to caress it, you know, play it nice and gently. It's got no armor, but what it does have is a lovely gun. I mean, the gun is beautiful on this tank. It really is. And when you can get into positions where you can actually use that gun and not get shot in return, it really does sing. Now, maps like this, Castilla, when it goes your way, it can really go your way. And you're going to see, I'm going to play the full battle here because this was actually my first battle in this tank trying to make the footage. Obviously I've played it before, I've aced it on my main account. This we're on my contributor account on the NA server, just because I didn't want to get to, the reason I played on my contributor account is because I've never played the tank before, and I didn't want to just show higher tier games like with me being bottom tier. I actually wanted to show you, you know, this tank, when you are top tier, this tank is really, really good, and you've got to try and ignore the global win rate of it, the overall win rate, and actually decide, you know what, this is actually a pretty good tank. And it really is. It's got no armor. As you can see, it's got no armor. You're going to get penned by almost everyone, but it's got a good rate of fire, it's got good speed, and as I've said, it's got a lovely gun. And when you can make the gun work, it really does pay off. And this battle, you're going to show it. We're losing. All the remaining 4 of my teammates are here, and we're going to rush these guys. There's 3 of these guys here. If we can rush these guys, then we can pretty much win the game. And I'm going to take out the KV-13, and then we're going to focus on the LTTB, and he's a good target. There goes the Helsing, another OP tank to get rid of. And you can see we're doing over 300 damage every shot, and this is just, what, around 6 seconds? 5.5 when you're using adrenaline, just over 6 when you're not. It really is a good tank if played correctly. Now, this game, it's a 3-on-3, and I'm on 2,300 damage, which, if I die now, you know what? I did my job. I did my job as a TD in a tier 8 game. Actually, this is a tier 8 game, I think. Actually, no, it's all tier 7s. It's all tier 7s, as I can see. No bottom tier, no higher tier. So we actually do really good. I mean, 2,600 damage now. We've got the Jagdpanther down to a 1-shot for the IS to clear him up. And it just now leaves the SU-152 and this LTTB. So we're just going to back up. We're going to get ourselves stuck on this bridge. We can't turn. And finally, we do turn. We do get penned. But we're going to get one more shot into him. So it now just leaves. They are going to take him out. And luckily, the SU-152 is spotted, so we know exactly where he is. I mean, this shot here, that actually hits him. I don't pen, but that actually hits him. The accuracy is not all that bad. Now, we are going to just speed this bit up, and one of our players actually says E25 is carrying the team. Like, dude, piss off. I'm doing a pretty good job as well. Don't forget about me. I'm on 3.5k damage for a tier 7 game. That's pretty good. So, the E25 does get taken out. The IS takes one more shot on the SU-152, leaves him on a 1-shot, and now I can just get behind him and comfortably get the side shot, and that we end up on 3.5k damage, which is pretty good if you ask me. And that was my first game in this tank on this account, just to try and get the footage. And we end on an ace. 3.5k damage. We make some credits as well, 58,000 credits, so not too bad of a tank. So I was quite surprised to see this at number 3. So moving on, number 2, again another tank I was quite surprised at, and that is the Indian Panzer. 49.19% win rate over the last 90 days. The tanks are quite a nice tank, to be fair. I love this tank, and the same with the Panzer, the 58 Panzer Mutts. It's pretty much the same tank. It's pretty much the same tank. Got a lovely gun. It really does have a nice gun. Not much armor, so I can understand why people absolutely get wrecked in it. It is quite a tough tank to play. Nice speed, nice gun depression. Again, a lovely gun. So if you're careful with it and don't get shot, again, it's a nice tank. And I was surprised to see this tank in the bottom 5, especially number 2 in the worst performing tech tree tanks in the game. But I like the tank. A lot of people don't like the tank, and I can see why. It's not like an amazing tank, but it's okay. It is okay. And again, when you can use that gun, it really can work. However, you've got no armor. You can occasionally bounce shots on your turret, but not reliably. Again, your sides, you're not going to bounce from your sides. You're not going to bounce from your hull. At this stage of the game, on this game, we haven't really done any damage, but we're winning on supremacy points. The team are dying, and this guy is all on his own. So I wanted to rush him, take him out, but unfortunately we don't really high roll, and we are going to get another shot. But at this point, I mean, we're going to clear him, and that's going to push us up to nearly 900 supremacy points. 7 against 3. And we're actually going to win this game on supremacy points, and we're going to leave 2 remaining tanks. One of them was almost full hit points, I believe. So we lost out on a little bit of damage. There's a Lerva there. There's an IS-3 defender, almost full hit points. But as soon as we take out this guy, the T-54 E1, it is going to end the game. So we could have got a bit more damage. I mean, it was my fault. I capped 2 bases by myself, but that's it. That is the Indian Panzer. And coming in at number 1, it is the VK3002D, the tier 7 German medium, and that is the only tank in this list that is below 49%, 48.76%. This tank is okay. I mean, I can understand why it's at the bottom. It's not the greatest of tanks. I don't really mind all these VKs, all these lower tier 6, tier 7, VK 1, 2, 3, whatever they are. But this one in particular, it isn't the greatest. I mean, you see tier 8 and you do really suffer. The gun depression on this tank sucks. The penetration is okay, the speed's okay, but you've got no armor whatsoever. You've got really no turret armor. And when you are up against those tier 8 tanks, you will absolutely get wrecked in this thing. And this is one of the tanks in tier 7. When I see on the enemy team, I'm like, ah, that's just an easy target. No good player really just plays this tank. And it's not a tank you play just for fun. So that is it, guys. That is the top 5 worst performing tech tree tanks. Next week, we are going to show you the top 5 best performing premium tanks in the game, and then after that we will do the worst performing premium tanks. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're enjoying this little series. I'm Meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.